Hi, I'm Lori Betts. Welcome to Golden Years and Happy New Year. And my guest this month is Pat Carlson from Carlson Funeral Homes. So come on back and we're going to have a talk with him. Welcome back to Golden Years. I am interviewing Pat Carlson from Carlson's Funeral Home. And we are going to learn a little bit more about what's going on in his world. So Pat, thank you for joining me this month on Golden Years. And first of all, I want to give you a huge thank you because ever since I've been in business, you, your brothers, you have been a well-known name in the community, a lot of volunteer work. And kudos to you guys. And especially for you, I know you're big. I got the Rotary involved with the senior meals, the Homestead senior meals, and you have been a great asset. So, and I interviewed them last year, and the first name that popped up was Pat Carlson. He says the prayer and he sends us on our way. So I want to thank you for that, and I know you're real active in Rotary. And you guys have been more than generous. And with the Hands Foundation too, you support many, many nonprofits. Yeah. And that's greatly appreciated. And it all goes back to the seniors and all of them that have the needs. So thank you very much.
Well, I'd like to thank you for letting me come on and say hello to Brunswick, because this is our station and so forth. And a happy holiday and a healthy one to all of you out there. And I hope to give some information today that you may have known or maybe you need to ponder about. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure you have some questions, because everyone seems to about my industry. It's not a topic that's shared enough.
Exactly. And it's like we don't want to go down that road. You know, not everyone thinks about that subject. But like my employee always tells me, we're not getting out of here alive. And we all have to follow God's plan, and we don't know when our time is up and what road we're going to go down. So that's why we need good people like you who have the wealth of information and experience, because I know no two funerals are the same.
No, they're not. We've had expected death in our family, and we've had some immediate deaths that were shocking, as they are to everybody that has that immediate death. That most people say, I was just talking to him last week or yesterday, and boom, they're gone out of our lives. And it leaves quite a void.
Oh, it does.
It does. And it's painful. And the time that we spend here on this earth is something that we can't buy. And we can have a lot of things, but they're all gone when he calls us home.
That's right. And they always say you have to be ready because you don't know when.
It says that in the Bible very well.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And now I want to ask you, let's talk about your generations. How far back did your family generation go?
It went back, it's 4 generations now. My grandfather was able to get his mortician's license, which is a license for embalming and funeral directing, back in the 50s, early 50s. Actually, it was 1948, I believe. My father then took up the torch, and he opened up his own place where my grandfather worked for someone else. We've been here in Brunswick since 61. And over 10 years ago, probably on 12 now, my son is the 4th generation, and he's a mortician as well, as I am.
Very good. And you have Brunswick and you have Medina also.
Those two in this county, and we have one in Garrettsville, which is out in Portage County near Hiram College, 3 miles from Hiram, 15 minutes from Ravenna. So it's out there as far as being away from here. And we got there because Mike and I both attended Hiram College. Mike graduated from there, and I went to school there before mortuary college. And we worked for him, and there wasn't a lot for him to tell us that we didn't already know. So it was a perfect niche for us to have our pocket money, so to speak. And when he left for his wife's health reasons, they gave us a call, and we've been out there 33 years now.
Wow. You know as well as I know and everybody watching, you are just too busy or you just don't want to plan for that funeral. Because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So share with my viewers pros and cons of planning.
Well, I don't believe that there are any cons to it. The pre-planning of the funeral is something we like to do about as much as we like to get our taxes done, or to do our wills, or go to the dentist. It's not something that we want to do, but it's something that we always are cognizant of, think about a lot, but we can never pull ourselves to the table to sit down to do. It is a fundamentally good thing for anyone, and it doesn't have to cost you any particular money to do that, meaning that everyone can come into a funeral home, probably pick up a brochure at any of the funeral homes, fill it out, take it home in their privacy, and let a family member know where it is. And you can write out your wishes without putting any money into it, but tell them what you want. Of course, pre-need also gives you the advantage of choosing different things that you want to happen, and that means that whether you want cremation or a full body burial, you might want to indicate that, and in choosing one or the other, funerals are much like weddings. The end result is the happiness of the wedding, but how we get there, seems to be different within all the different families. And there's a lot of chemistry in each family.
You think?
And we have people that have grown up and become adults and really have their own set of mind as to what should happen to them. And if you don't leave the indications, you're pretty well throwing up the coin, and everybody can kind of make of it what they want, and they'll remember instances of talking to the now passed away and them saying one thing, but to another child 5 years earlier, they said something else. And it's difficult for families to sometimes come to agreements because they've gained age and they've formulated their opinions.
Yeah.
And it's tough picking out the alpha when you have people that disagree. And it becomes more of a burden to do that and to get people to sit down and love one another at a time where you really need to have that kumbaya time.
Well, do you see as the generations are going through the cycle, like the upcoming generations, like let's say, because when we first started in the business, I mean, like the 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds, I mean, they were young 80, 90-year-olds. And I mean, it's just like, that's for old people, that's for old people. So, and some of them did have their plans set because they didn't want their children to go through it.
Yeah.
So are those like dying out, or are like 70-year-olds prepared?
Well, For a lot of people, they start to make decisions about that because of health reasons, or because they finally want it off the table and the husband and wife have agreed on it, or they found out through a passing of their spouse that they really don't want to have the kind of conversations that they've had with family members over what to do with their loved one that just passed. It's a very difficult time to be talking about something that takes you off the focus of their life, takes you off the focus of what they want. And then, of course, as everyone knows, there's an expense to it. And how do we pay for it and get a dignified, respectful, or desired type of service? Because it is different today, because we have cremation, everyone can agree, has become more prevalent. And that's a wonderful thing. But the details of cremation can be really varied. You can have, of course, a full body burial, which would be more traditional of the past. But cremation acceptance, whether it's through a church affiliation that didn't let you do it before, or...
Which has changed.
Yes, or the fact that family members have left and spread out around the country. And they're not down the street that they can get here in a flash to make the arrangements, or they didn't get an opportunity to even get the time to come and say goodbye if they were ill. So because people are worldwide or in all kinds of different states, and financial conditions that might inhibit them from doing something immediately, it would be better to have some plans. And if we knew the direction, we certainly know how to help the family get there. One of our primal mantras that we have is that you take care of yourselves and we'll take care of you. So if you let us know, or we know through pre-needing what the desire was, we can help with the scheduling, and we can help with the method of financing. We can help with different things that makes everybody about as relaxed as they can be at a time of sorrow, so that they can concentrate on what really is going on now. This is a one chance opportunity, and it's a bad situation to be in, no matter where they've been. It doesn't have to be an unexpected death. You can have people, and many have been in hospice, and the reality really isn't there until the clock stops. It really isn't there. It's still shockful, and it's enough to emotionally sweep you away from thought. You're not really all that responsible for your emotions because they're all over the place. And
definitely.
You put a few people together and you'll see that they're all in different directions.
My 90-year-old mother-in-law, she planned everything. When she turned 90, she said, this is the funeral home, this is the church, I want to wear this dress, these are my songs. God bless her. But who would have known, unfortunately, she fell and broke a hip, a second hip, and she never came out of the anesthesia. So for 2 years, I mean, she was at assisted living for 2 years, and she didn't know us, but she had everything planned out. And then we, the kids, being out of towners, the other 3 siblings, they decided no viewing because all her siblings are gone. You know, so the whole family's gone. So we just had a nice mass for her, and then we had a luncheon after. And we're going to talk about that real quick. We have to take a break. How every funeral is different now. Everyone just puts the personality of that person in there, and you make the service around that, which is good. I mean, because everyone has to grieve in their own way. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back.
Hi, I'm Ed Zachary with Medina County Veterans Service Office. And if you're a veteran and you're in a crisis, or worse yet, contemplating suicide, I want you to pick up the phone and call the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Do it now.
Welcome back to Golden Years. I'm interviewing Pat Carlson from Carlson Funeral Homes, and he is sharing some tips with the viewers on how it's okay to have a different funeral. Mm-hmm. And no one should be criticized if you want to have the viewing, no viewing, but I think having a viewing lets the family grieve more.
It gives an opportunity that, as I mentioned before, isn't going to come around again. Mm-hmm. I understand that the deceased is passed, but I don't understand how important it is to each individual in the family. Mm-hmm. And some people, maybe they don't have a lot of friends and they are out of state. However, they want to take back memories with them, okay, of how nice it was that so many people showed up.
Really?
For those that were in the area. You want your neighbors to know that you had a passing, mm-hmm. okay? Your friends, your coworkers, and not everybody knows who Dad bowled with 5 years ago or mm-hmm. whatever. You don't know how many chuckles they had over pizza and beer.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know who was on the bowling team, but it was important to them that they have the right to come up and say their last goodbyes as well. Yeah. And that's part of what we do in trying to figure out with the family, if it hasn't been pre-stated exactly what it is that we're trying to accomplish. And it's important for people to realize that you can have a cremation after you have a visitational viewing.
And that is becoming more popular than
because I think the funeral homes have woken up to the fact that we don't classify you in just one area of cremation or just a body burial. Things need to be looked at in the perspective of, for instance, the Western Reserve Cemetery is great for all the veterans because it gives few people the opportunity to be buried, and the government carries the cemetery costs. But
beautiful service.
It doesn't mean that you can get into the cemetery the day that you want to because it's governmental. So mm-hmm. you may very well want to either have a service and have the funeral at the cemetery a few days later according to the government schedule. People can make the first event, or if they can't, maybe they can make the event at the day of the service at the cemetery. And when you have the availability for cremation to give you the opportunity to pay your respects and then have a service either with the ashes at a later date mm-hmm. at the cemetery with full honors, or with cremation, of course, after it happens, you may want to have a memorial service now because it happened now, but you may want to wait for the nicest spring or fall day to be at the cemetery to inter your loved one, either at the National Cemetery or your private cemetery, or to gather on a mountaintop that has been specified perhaps in somebody's pre-need arrangements. Mm-hmm. And we've had people that have gone through the item by item, who not only who gets the jewelry and what stays on the person that goes with them or what comes off. It gives the opportunity for you to state that, and they've done it in such detail. Some people do not want to be viewed, but they still want to have a celebration of themselves with their body present or not present. We can go in a zillion directions, and we do. We try to get everybody to agree to one commonality, mm-hmm. or give them the opportunity for us to step out of the room and for them to hash it out on their own merits and come to an agreement. It is about dignifying a loved one's life in whatever manner that means to whomever it is that's making the arrangements. And we can help them get there. We do a lot of shifting around of whatever we need to do. That's why we say that you take care of yourselves and we'll take care of you, because we know what to do when you've made your decision and how to get to the place that you want to be.
And a lot of times now there's a delay when the person dies, because I realize too that a lot of people have to get here from out of state, or they figure, okay, like it just seems so different now. Are there like a day of a week more popular than, you know, any day during the week?
Well, over the weekends when things happen, think of it, if death would occur on a Friday, you've lost Saturday and Sunday usually, and that's 25% of the week is gone before you can get into a visitation and so forth. So you burn up some days of availability, and you have to consider everybody. So it does take different thought processes. We can have, you see in the newspaper quite often that celebrations will happen later.
Oh, yeah.
And they may tell those individuals, you know, we want you to wear a red hat. We want you to wear Mom's favorite color of purple.
I read that, yeah.
We've had some interesting funeral services where people have asked everybody to dress in beachwear and have that part of the service. And people have actually done very well in doing that. We also have the sadness of children. And we've had the opportunity to have people bring in, you know, balloons or dress in some type of costume or wear SpongeBob badges or Spider-Man, so forth. And there's actually some places in the United States where some groups have dressed up in the Marvel costumes, if you will, and have acted as pallbearers, all dressed up, and these are adults, which is, but it's personalizing it. Those parents are going to remember that. But if he was a golfer, maybe he wants everybody to wear a golf shirt or a golf hat or do different things that would remind him of his happy times, because this is what we're here to celebrate life. We're not here to celebrate the last ending of his life, which may have been miserable, okay, or might have been quick. We're here to celebrate, you know what, I had some fun in my life. I had some good times. I had these buddies, I had this family companionship, and a lovely person to live with, to celebrate and to share stories.
Exactly.
I often tell people that when they are in a visitational situation, that if there are the DVDs playing in the background, after they've seen them once or twice before the public gets there, to turn their back to the DVD that they'll be able to play for days and weeks and years on end. Because the words that they're going to hear from people that they don't know, they're only going to hear those words one time. They're going to hear about that gutter ball 2 lanes over. They're going to hear about the fish that got away, whether it's a big lie or a little lie, the golf shot. They're going to hear about when the quilting group got together.
Oh, yeah.
And the conversations that they would have, they're private conversations, just like any group has. You might go to the softball game, but you don't get that camaraderie that the baseball team has on their own.
Oh, yeah.
So you turn your back to that and you listen to the words that are being spoken one time, okay? And you try to relate that. And if you're shy about that, generally speaking, at our place or maybe some other places, or there's a container that you can put in a short paragraph on a note and put it in what we have like a fishbowl. And the family can read those later and laugh at them.
Oh, yeah.
And if
Good
they don't
idea.
have one, there's usually a collection spot somewhere for cards or envelopes for people that brought them with them instead of floral arrangements. And they can put in something for themselves, for the family to read in private later on. It's about giving
The
of
person.
yourself to make the family feel better. Whether it's a grandchild that draws a dinosaur and puts it
Oh,
in
yeah, definitely.
grandma's casket, or whether it's an adult that writes a letter to grandpa or grandma and we just put it in the pocket. Okay? For me, they'll probably write a lot of checks that I won't be able to
That you
cash.
won't be able to cash.
Scratch off those lottery tickets. I won't need them now. Good luck.
Well, and you're making, I mean, and that person wants to feel good giving something to grandma when she takes her new journey. You know, so that's a very good idea. I know I put a bag of M&Ms and I don't know what happened to them, but in my sister's coffin because she loved M&Ms. And I said, here they are. So, but it's supposed to be sealed, so hopefully no one got inside that casket.
No.
No
Well,
animals.
Those items are buried with them, and they're more secure than you would probably think.
Yeah.
I know all the poems and the songs, but generally speaking, that in no way will happen.
Thanks, Pat, for joining me on Golden Years this month. You've had a wealth of information, and thank you, viewers, for watching us. And we hope you picked up some good tips. And we'll see you next month.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?